Imagine building your career for your entire life, and then once you hit 50, as your wage is going this way, your hourly rate is going that way. I'm a software developer by trade, so I spent decades building up my expertise to actually earn a decent wage. I didn't really earn a really good wage until I was in my mid-40s, and that only lasted about 3 or 4 years. And then after that, my salary started to decline, even though the positions I had were more responsible. So that now I'm almost in my mid-60s. My wages declined to such an extent that any work I do really doesn't get any more money than stacking vegetables at a supermarket. I know because I've done both. I just wanted to highlight that the issues, if you're an older person, the issues that you're going to have as time goes on, and just to prepare you for what's going to happen, and to make sure you got some sort of a plan when that does happen. So when I first started programming, I was getting quite a low salary, and I was getting quite a low salary for some years, and then I got tired of the salary, and then I started doing contracting. It was at that stage that my salary was getting to be quite decent. So back then I was getting about $30 an hour. This is in the 1990s, which was above the average wage back then. So I dropped into some full-time jobs as time went on, and for some reason I was only considered for low-paying IT jobs. So for some reason, I was never the cream of the crop type of person that would attract the types of salaries that you see sometimes advertised, paying 150K, 180K. I was never privy to those type of jobs. I'm not sure who is. I'm not even sure if those jobs even exist. So it's of my understanding lately that a lot of those jobs are advertised just so they can scrape your data. Basically, it's just a means of getting your personal information so they can build their database of people. So I got a feeling that those jobs actually don't exist. So when I got into my 40s, I actually got a good break, and I actually got a job working for government as a contractor. So at that stage, I was earning the most money I've earned in my life, and that was about $60 an hour. So I was getting that salary for about 4 years, and I thought times were good then. And then I come off contract, and then I was renegotiated back into a full-time job within the same department. And my salary dropped to about a quarter of what it used to be. It was still, I could still live on it, but that was the start of a decline. So as time went by, I started getting IT jobs that were quite responsible and had an okay wage, nothing fantastic. I barely had any wage increases since then, except for maybe the occasional CPI increase, which is the Consumer Price Index. So that's the adjustment for inflation. So when I was laid off in my 50s, first from a IT job that I had for 8 years, and then sometime later I got another IT job, and then I was laid off again after 6 months in that job. So after that, I picked up a number of short-term jobs. A lot of them were IT related, and my salary just plummeted to between $30 to $35 an hour. And that's as a business entity. So that $30 to $35 an hour comprised of me having to pay my own services tax. So in reality, I was probably earning about $27 to $30 an hour. Plus I had to pay extra to get an accountant to do my taxes. And that's been the reality ever since. So I did one job helping a real estate valuer with automating their document flow, which is why I developed that website that I talked about in another video. So, that's quite technical, auto-filling documents via a website. I was getting $32 an hour to do that. I mean, that's nothing. Shortly before that, I had a job at a supermarket and I was getting about the same salary there, maybe $1 less per hour. Where you tell me where the motivation is to do a highly stressful, highly challenging job when I can just zone out and stack potatoes and probably work for more hours as well and get weekend work. Where's the motivation for me to actually even be bothered to look for those type of jobs? So at the moment, I'm working for a dog trainer. So my entire income is 5 hours and I'm getting $35 an hour, not including government taxes, so I have to pay that. So in reality, it's probably about $30 an hour. So as you can imagine, that's about $150 a week I'm earning. And I managed to get this person to #1 rank in Google in the area, and I've done all sorts of SEO and set up their YouTube channel and all that type of stuff. And that's about all I'm worth is $30 an hour. Yet this same dog trainer does dog walking and they charge $59 an hour. I mean, really? Someone who walks dogs has got a lot more value than someone with 40 years IT experience? So just so you know, when these people, dog trainers, when dog walkers walk your dog, they don't really walk your dog. They just take the dog to the dog park and just let it run around while they sit on their phone. And occasionally they'll take pictures as proof that their dog has actually been doing something. So that works as long as your dog is well socialized. If you've got a dog with problems, then they're probably not going to even be bothered because it means that they will actually have to walk. And I know from having my own dog, high energy dog, that lots of walking can get a bit hard. So, you got someone who walks dogs at $59 an hour and they don't do one dog at a time, they do 4 or 6 dogs at a time. So I find that highly insulting that I'm not even worth that type of money. Granted, I have thought about doing dog walking myself. The main thing holding me back is my feet are really sore from having to walk my dog, and I actually don't get a single day off each week. So if I could get a few days off a week, if I could actually afford to pay someone to walk my dog, then I could actually probably recover enough that I could walk someone else's dog. So you can imagine for us older people what this type of activity does, or what this type of employer behavior does. It's psychologically straining. It sort of lowers your dignity and your self-worth. And that has forced people, and I know this is true for me, that I've had to deal with financial strain, and then I've had to lower my standards and start going for jobs that pay less, a lot less money than what I'm used to. And this seems to be the norm. I mean, I constantly bump into people at the dog park who are unemployed like me, and they're all over 50. I mean, occasionally I might see a 40-year-old or a 35-year-old, but I only see them once because they've already got a job again within a week or two. I'd like to see some sort of a system where there's a fairer work practice, especially with all ages, and experience is actually valued rather than less experience and younger age people. So I think age shouldn't be a factor, it should be just experience only. That's in an ideal world. So that leads you to the choices. I mean, you can upskill if you've got the financial resources to pay for the super high cost of education, then go for it. Or try and think of things that you're interested in and people might value that are in lower demand, or just diversify. So I think diversification is going to be what I'm going to do. I'm going to have to get a bunch of part-time jobs and maybe earning a bit of coffee money from the YouTube channel. So it's going to be, I'm still trying to get my head around what type of shop I could set up with this YouTube channel. I can't really think of anything that really goes with ageism. So the other channel I just started with wellness, I can think of lots of things that I could sell with that channel, but nothing really with this channel. So I think eventually I'm going to have about 4 or 5 or even 10 or 12 different type of income streams. So just a little bit from each is going to be enough to get me by, which is probably a good thing because then I'm not relying on any one thing. So the only thing with getting an income from YouTube is I've seen in the past that they can very rapidly change their policies, which can directly affect you, and there's not really much you can say about it at all. So what do you guys think? Have you people have been experiencing wage decline or hourly rate decline as well? And what have you done to address that? And how did you get by?